Good evening, everybody. This is V3Cast, episode 15, the official Voyager 3 podcast. Greg, Aaron, what's happening, guys?
We're at 15.
15 episodes, 5 times 3, 7.5 times 2. What you know? Greg has a little bit different setting.
I'm doing this while I'm on vacation.
I was just saying, look at the different setting for Greg. I think someone's on vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, I am.
Dig it.
I'm out in Spring Lake, Michigan, man. West side of the state.
All right.
And it's good to see that you brought your drums with you. They're all set up in the background.
Yeah, I got all the drum cases back here. I loaded in early.
We always like to load in early.
Yep.
Man, I'm jealous of some of those pictures that you sent, all the different delicious drinks that you have at your disposal, and that lake and that pool and that sunset. Man, oh man, you guys got it made in the shade out there.
Yeah, well, you're gonna hear about the first stop I made when I got here.
All right,
a second.
Very cool. Well, do you know what goes hand in hand with an excellent vacation? Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet beverages.
Yes.
So, what do you got? Since Greg's on vacation, we got to hear what Greg has, because I know he's probably got something real sweet to celebrate being on vacation.
Well, so I sent you guys the picture the minute I got here from the corner market right by the house here.
Tons of stuff there.
Yeah, so I went in and I asked the guy for a local IPA, and I got this. It's called Tacklebox.
Okay.
And it's by Pier Brewing.
Nice.
It's got a really cool can of some sort of like octopus attacking a boat.
Oh yeah, yeah. So might that be even like a Cthulhu maybe hinted beer? Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's this brewery's in Benton Harbor, which is south of here. But I wanted to get something that was from the west side of the state that I wouldn't normally be able to get out by us on the east side. So that's what I got.
Yeah, fantastic.
Also, our honorable mention, we were out in downtown Grand Haven today, and I got to stop in Oddside Ales, the actual tap room. Oh yeah,
that's that place that has all the wood inside, right?
Yeah, I sent you guys a picture.
Yeah.
And I had a pineapple IPA there.
Oh,
so that was.
Aaron would love that.
Yeah, I would check that out.
Yeah, it was good, Aaron.
Good.
Sounds
and
like
they told me that that's not one that they, Oddside does a lot of canned beers, so you can find Oddside Ales on our side of town. But I asked them, I want one that I can't get, and she said the pineapple is only on tap there, so I wanted to get that one.
Cool.
So,
and
man, I've had
give both of those a thumbs up.
Yeah, I've had a good beer day, man. But Tacklebox by Pier, it's really good.
Dig it.
So here's to you.
Cheers. Aaron, what you got?
I got myself one of them there spicy
Modelo.
Bloody Mary, right?
Yeah. So you get to hear the ice clinking in the glass the whole time, because I know people love that.
Oh yeah, that just enhances the enjoyment that we know you must be having while drinking that drink.
Yeah.
And of course, Aaron always elevates.
ASMR.
Right, I think it is.
Yeah,
ASMR videos are popular on YouTube, aren't they? Aaron's giving you the Bloody Mary experience.
That's right. And Aaron always elevates the drinks he makes with sweet ass retro glasses. Which glass is that one, Aaron? Is that Wonder Woman?
This is the man.
Batman. Gotcha. Yep. You moved it so fast. You put that drink up to your lips so fast I couldn't even see the graphic on it. Oh man.
Is it spicy though, Aaron? Do you got scorpion pepper sauce in there?
Yes, I do. I got the scorpion pepper. I got regular Tabasco and some other stuff. A little lime juice. Other spicy.
Got a little Worcestershire
Yep.
sauce in there. You got that in there?
All the stuff you're supposed to put in there. There's a particular list of the must-haves, and then there's the optional tiers after that.
Yeah.
Like bacon, pickle slices, all that good stuff, right?
Cucumber.
Do people put beets in Bloody Marys? I'm just curious because I don't know.
I would. I haven't had that yet.
Because I love beets. I don't know. I mean,
You
just
gotta
saying.
probably you want to put like sometimes they do it with a skewer and they'll have like an olive and some cheese and beet would go well on there. Otherwise, if you just threw some beets in there, they'd all sink to the bottom.
No,
and
that's
you wouldn't
true.
see them again till the end.
Right.
And you'd be fighting the ice. Like, ice, get out of the way. I want to get to that beet. And the
Right.
ice is like, fuck you, man. This is our show. You never see the beet again.
That's right. All
I'm
right.
waiting patiently to point out the hypocrisy of Aaron's Bloody Marys. He won't.
How?
He can't handle a little chocolate in a beer, but
But
put
I'll
every
put
damn
beets in there.
vegetable. Yeah, put every damn vegetable you can think of in a Bloody Mary. That's no problem.
This
No
doesn't
problem.
it doesn't make sense. What's happening?
No problem.
Yeah,
Let me tell
Aaron,
you.
I
Let me
fail
tell
to
you.
see the logic.
I never claimed to be consistent on everything. When you said pineapple IPA, I said, "Oh, that sounds good to me. I would try that." But
Yeah, but I can't
that-
tell if you're being serious.
Yeah, I thought you were
just
being
think-
sarcastic, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
see, even Steve thought you were being sarcastic.
no, I would actually try that one.
I thought a pineapple IPA would never touch your lips.
I don't know. You would think so, but I don't know. I like some stuff like orange in beer is great.
Like hazy IPAs are all citrus. I mean, it's mostly citrus that makes it
Yeah.
hazy.
There's certain. I don't want grape in a beer. I don't know. I can't really explain why. I don't want. I don't
You don't
want
want
tomato
chocolate in a stout.
chocolate. I don't want coffee in a beer, but I would
I don't
try.
get it.
I don't want watermelon either. Like some stuff to me doesn't fit. But
Is there such thing as a beer that literally has watermelon in there? I've never
yeah,
heard of
there's
that.
some fruity pebbles stuff they do. Line and Kugels.
Fruity Pebbles.
I think Line and Kugels has one there. They're going to try everything they can, throw everything at the wall, and see what sticks. But like citrus in beer makes sense to me.
Right on.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah, Aaron doesn't
speaking
claim
of
to be
that-
consistent. Remember, he's already prefaced this.
Yeah. What are you drinking, Steve?
Well,
White Monster.
I found
Monster.
a
White Monster.
classic old school gem
White Monster.
that I didn't know they made this anymore. Are you ready for this? Do you guys
What?
remember this blast from the past called
It's Kool-Aid.
Clearly Canadian?
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Are you
Oh,
kidding
I
me?
thought those were extinct.
Me too, but I found it in this party store by the house, and it's peach flavor. I love peaches. So cheers.
It's
Look
like
at
a lung.
it. It's
That's like a
all
lungfish, Steve.
dripping
That's
wet.
related
Look
to
at
the
that.
dinosaurs.
Oh man, it's gonna be so good. I'm gonna take
I'm
the
going to look for that.
Clearly Canadian plunge.
Canadian was great. That was great.
I know they
Yeah.
had black cherry, peach, and one other one, and I can't remember what it was now.
Here's another big one of that
Black-
same era.
Black cherry and then cherry, I think.
Yeah,
Another one of that same era. New York Seltzer. Remember that?
Yeah. for sure.
Oh yeah.
Loved
I
it.
have not seen that around, but I bet you it's gonna creep in.
Kato will remember that. Kato and Scope, man. We used to go get New York Seltzers.
Oh man, we love those things. Absolutely.
They had like 20 flavors or something. I think they had a lot.
Yeah, that was classic. I remember we were drinking New York Seltzers, Aaron. We recorded that old Vegetarian Cannibals cassette because that was that era. That's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that stuff was good.
We were drinking them one after another.
All right, we're going to keep it moving, and we have so much to share tonight on this episode of V3 Cast. The first thing we want to talk about is Motor City Nightmares. That was a week ago. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We were there on Friday and Saturday. We played Friday night, and man, I'm going to tell you what.
Hey guys,
We had
we
such a
played
good
a
time.
show.
We played
Yeah,
a
can
show.
you believe it? We played
Remember
live.
that? Remember that? We played live. I got
Yeah.
to hit like acoustic drums.
That's
Right.
Remember
right.
that? That was great.
We got to
Great.
crank that volume up through a PA.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I might have been a little too loud. I don't know.
It sounded good from my side of the stage. Everything
Okay,
sounded
good.
balanced.
And my drums sounded real loud.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
I don't
the
hold
show,
back, Aaron.
that's right.
No. Well,
the
you
show
shouldn't.
was absolutely fantastic. There was every type of merch item, shirts, posters, toys, albums, CDs, what else? Comic books, magazines, the stars from Dawn of the Dead were there. Ken Foree, Gaylen Ross, Scott Reiniger, Tom Savini, They did a panel on Saturday at midday, and I went to that. It was great. They just basically tell stories of stuff they remember from when they were filming Dawn of the Dead, and any little anecdotes and stuff that George told them, and just just really cool stuff right from the people that were in the film. So that was awesome. What else, man? We met a ton of cool people there too.
Yeah.
Tom Savini actually made a point of stopping by our table because we were like right next to him.
Yeah, we were actually
corner.
by all the Dawn of the Dead people, coincidentally.
Yeah, so he stopped by our table twice. The first time he stopped and he said, "Is this you guys?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I couldn't tell if he was like aggravated because we were playing our music.
I didn't know he came by twice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then he came by again, and it was sort of the same thing. And I still don't know if our music was annoying him or if he liked it.
What did he say the second time?
He said that he goes, are you doing a Goblin cover? And I was like, well, we're heavily influenced by Goblin, but we're not directly covering.
Right.
Well, that sounds a little better, because the first time he said, is this you guys playing? I said, yeah. He goes, are you going to be here all weekend?
That could still go either way. Like, oh shit,
exactly.
I got to hear this all weekend.
I think the jury's out. Either he loved us or he hates us. I'm not sure which.
He might have been saying, like, is this a Goblin cover? Because you're ripping them the fuck off.
Right.
It could have been that. So I don't know.
What I'm hoping
got
for,
his attention at least,
and I'm going to throw this out into the cosmos, is that he's working on some kind of a film that'll be out late next year, and he needs music for it. So he's like, oh, these guys might work out.
That's right. He's going to give us a call.
Tom.
Hey,
Come
we
on,
can
Tom.
dream.
We know
can't
you
we?
loved it.
Yeah,
that's right.
We know you loved it.
We're your band, brother.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah, it is surreal. Like sitting, remember, I don't know, Steve, you probably remember, Gaylen Ross having like just an impromptu conversation with us while she was kind of like sitting at her table before the whole thing started.
Right. Totally.
I mean, you just can't put a price on like interactions like that. These are people that, obviously the three of us are starstruck by, like I had to stop myself from staring at Tom Savini all weekend because I'm sure he thinks I'm a creeper, but I'm like, man, that's Tom Savini.
I know. He has done so much.
It's hard not to get starstruck.
Speaking of Tom Savini, I want to throw, because part of V3Cast, as you all know, is that we try to share cool shit with people, right? That we obviously all like similar things. So here's one for everybody. If you're a Tom Savini fan, there was a anthology series that came out probably in the early 2000s. I don't remember the exact year. Let's just say maybe around 2008, roughly. It was called Dead Time Stories, and it was done by George Romero. It was kind of like Creepshow, where there's like 4 episodes on the DVD or Blu-ray, and they were all like little shorts, maybe 20 minutes or so, and they were creepy horror stories. The last story on season 1, or disc 1, if you will, because they did 2 of them all together. So the first one, it's called House Call, and Tom Savini directed that one. It is off the chain excellent. So seek it out if you see the disc anywhere, or maybe some streaming services have those films. Check it out. You'll love it. I guarantee it. Every shot, there's no throwaway shots. Every shot is thought out and beautiful. And the whole story is great. The writing is great. The acting is great. So Tom Savini tidbit for you.
Sweet.
Aaron, did you have any highlights of Motor City Nightmares in particular? And because you bought some things. I
did. I was trying to be selective with what I was going to buy. I didn't want to go too crazy, but I'm a sucker for the Funko Pops for certain ones. And this one booth had the whole new line of Eddie from Iron Maiden, Eddie figures. So like, there's Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Live After Death. And this one, there were 4 of them. And then I went back for this one, the 5th one. I don't want to show everything because it would, it's goofy, but I will show this one, this Power Slave Eddie, complete with like the pyramid in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist it. I tried to resist it. I tried to say, no, dude, I'm just going to do those 4. And he's like, well, he threw in a deal to get that one too. And I said, you are a good businessman.
That's right. He went in for the kill, and Aaron was like, you got me.
Yep. And I was like, you knew that I couldn't walk away without this. So that was great. I got some stuff. I got a cool Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt for my kid, and just cool stuff. I mean, it's always good to walk around several times because you're going to miss stuff the first time or two, and so it was great. It was a great time. A lot of people coming up to us and talking about maybe they'd seen us there before, or they'd seen us play there before, or they'd already had our stuff and they were like, oh God, you guys are here. So that was really cool to meet people again. Obviously we haven't been out doing stuff in person like everybody in the world until more recently. So not only to get out and play again, but to be at the convention. This is our third Motor City Nightmare. And so it was great to be back. And we were hanging out all day with with one of the Amino Acid members, and then we played.
Yeah, don't reveal identities, man.
That's right.
I almost did.
Also, we were next door. We shared a spot too with Astronomicon. See, what happens with these conventions is a lot of them kind of do a table at each other's conventions to try to let everybody know about them. So Motor City Nightmares had a table at Astronomicon when we were there back in, was that March or April? I lost track. But anyway, in Cinema Wasteland, excellent convention out in the Cleveland area. They had a table at Motor City Nightmares. So it's kind of a thing. So we were next door to Astronomicon. So shout out to Mike. He was hanging out there. He's a good dude. He's in the Twisted camp for sure.
Yeah, man.
And it was back to Amino Acids for a second. It was cool because we played a bunch of shows over all these years, and there are very few bands that are still around from the old Forge days where we were playing still the same three guys, and sometimes we had other people in the band, but Amino Acids we've been playing with since like 97, I think, 98.
Yeah, man, like at Elvin's and where else? Do we do Corktown with them or something like that? I can't remember, but it's been a handful of times.
Done a lot of shows, including these all three Motor City Nightmares. And it's great that they're still around and still creepy and weird. And,
with that excellent theremin happening. I love it.
Yeah, and they're perfect to play with us because they also don't have vocals. They're just like a crazy surf punk alien invasion with theremin. So it's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
You know who is really cool that we should mention? Also sat right behind us. In fact, he used our t-shirt crate to hang up his sign. Was Cooper Andrews from Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, totally cool guy for sure. Yeah,
he was.
And he's funny. He likes to crack jokes a lot. I was great.
Yeah, he overheard me talking to somebody about drums, and he interrupted, and he's like, "Excuse me, are you talking about drums?" I'm like, "Why, yes, we are." He's just so nice, genuinely nice dude. And so if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, just know that Cooper Andrews is the shit.
That's right.
That dude's solid, man.
For sure.
There was one other thing. Oh, how about the guy that he came to Astronomicon. He came to Motor City Nightmares from Montreal and he brought his Victory in the Battle Chamber
7
album cover. Yeah, so that we could all sign it. That was pretty cool. I mean, that's a long way to come, and remember to bring
that was a cool dude, and he got some fun stuff as well from us and other vendors too. He kind of had full hands. He had all these bags full of stuff. I think he even went out and dropped it off at his hotel room. He came back down with a lighter load, basically.
I mean, long story short, these are the kind of places that we're meant to hang out, and we had a blast hanging out and meeting everybody. And obviously, we've got a bit more recognition now because of New York Ninja. So quite a few people stopping by to talk about that and have us sign some stuff. So it does wonders for your ego. I have a huge ego, you guys, and so this is good for me. It's like therapy.
I also have to say a special shout out to Tommy. She's the one who puts the whole thing on. You'll always see her at the fest because she usually has a very bright colored hair, like pink or something like that. You always see her, and she's always zipping around, making sure everybody's all right. She's always laughing, and her kid is there helping.
Yeah, they were. They were super.
It's a family affair, dude. It always has been, actually, because she has older kids too that we used to do it years past.
Yeah, and I mean they were super nice. Like everybody we talked to was super nice that was running it, and
yeah, very helpful.
Like even down to offering to let us put our equipment in their hotel room.
It's true. remember
that? Like they're just very, very giving and very accommodating, especially for somebody as low on the totem pole as we are. So
I hear you for sure. Oh,
it was really cool.
A highlight for me in particular was, and he's a staple of Motor City Nightmares because he's there almost every single year pretty much, is John Russo, the co-writer of Night of the Living Dead with George Romero and one of the producers.
Oh yeah, he was on the corner there.
Yeah, yep, like opposite Cooper Andrews basically. And he was also one of the zombies in there too. So he is all involved with that film. And then he went on to make Return of the Living Dead films later on. But he's the OG, man, for sure. So it's cool to see him still out there. He's got books that he's written about Night of the Living Dead and making it and all this stuff and many other things, posters and all the covers of the films that he's done. And you can always go get an autograph from him. It's very cool that he's still out there doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we also have to spend a couple minutes on somebody that we finally got to meet in person, our friend from Canada, who we've known forever. And
that's right.
Just got to finally meet him in person, which was awesome.
That's right. Yeah.
Go ahead and reveal it.
Shout out to Ghoulish Gary pulling from Toronto.
And his friend Eric, who
was
super nice and awesome as well.
Yeah, no, those two guys, and if you add in Aaron Lumpton from Rue Morgue Magazine, those guys used to do From My Parents' Basement podcast. And just like when COVID was starting, they had me on there. I think just schedule-wise, I was the only one who was able to be on that. But we talked. That was right after we had to cancel our Toronto show. Or maybe we canceled it the next day. Or I don't know. It was right around there. It was going to be our first time in Toronto, in Canada, playing. And then COVID, squashed all that for us and everybody else in the world, basically. So, but yeah, they used to do that podcast. But for Motor City Nightmares, Eric and Gary came down, and we chatted off and on all weekend, and they finally got to see us play. Yeah, they had never seen us live yet, so now that's been taken care of.
And Ghoulish Gary had a booth with his art, and it was amazing. The stuff is awesome.
To flip through that book of stuff that he has. I mean, you go, that Death Waltz album he did. Oh, and that Waxworks release that he did. Oh, Reanimator. Oh, cool. Oh, Creepshow 2. Awesome. Oh, Chud. Oh, I love that.
Children of the Corn.
Yeah, it's endless. That guy is busy.
Yeah, so if you don't know Ghoulish Gary Pullen, go look him up because his artwork is next level.
That's right, man. He's one of the top guys around doing that right now. Oh, and speaking of all that, he revealed that day at Motor City Nightmares that he has the cover to the upcoming Mad Magazine issue coming out that features Poltergeist. Is it the 40th anniversary, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Something like that.
So he got the cover to that, and the art is very cool. I can't wait for everybody to see it. I mean, it is out there now, so you can see it. You see, I'll look it up and find it, but you will enjoy it. It's exactly what it needs to be, for sure.
Poltergeist, one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
So scary. So many elements of that are scary in different ways. It's
that clown, Steve.
A masterpiece. I know. And the tree. Are you kidding me?
And that pool. What about the pool? The
all the skeletons floating in the pool.
Yeah, man, come on.
Oh, man. And how about the in front of the mirror scene? It was pulling. Oh, God dang. I never think of a chicken leg the same again.
Right. A huge highlight was Eugene Clark. People, if you remember him, he was the king
Big Daddy
undead zombie in Land of the Dead, George Romero's fourth zombie movie, and he's Big Daddy. He was showing how the zombies had evolved and become more intelligent since Day of the Dead. And so he went out, he rose to lead this army, this horde of zombies on that huge compound. And he was there. And so tell everybody how he runs his booth, which is like probably the best booth of any celebrity ever.
Yeah, dude, right. He's a workhorse, man. Like he like if you pay for an experience with him, I'll just call it that because I don't know like what it is exactly, but man, he goes all out. Like you get so much for your money, and like he is just like on it.
Yeah,
he
he's
shows
hard
up.
working.
He's in character, and he's got the contacts, and he's got the fake teeth, and he's got the zombie makeup, and he's got his coveralls from the gas station that his character wore. For the whole
it's
movie.
Big Daddy at the show.
He's straight up. He is in character.
Oh yeah.
And,
but I went to look him up to see, because I know him, and most of us know him from Land of the Dead, of course. But I went to look him up to see what else he's done, and man, he's been busy.
He's a musician
for
right?
forever. Yeah, he has albums, and he was a football player. Believe it or not, he got drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like sometime in the mid 70s, and although he didn't play, sometimes that happens. Like sometimes you'll get drafted to a team and you're kind of like on reserve and you don't actually end up getting field time or whatever, but he did get signed to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then he actually did play for the Toronto Argonauts from 77 until 78, so he played professional football in Canada, but then he started acting. Check out some of the stuff that he's been in. Do you guys remember in the 90s, William Shatner's Tech War? I never watched it, but I remember it. He had a reoccurring character on that. The character's name was Sid Gomez. And then he was in Trailer Park Boys, the movie, and he did a movie called Night Heat. He was in RoboCop Prime Directives, which is like a Canadian production. So some kind of, offshoot of the RoboCop films, of course. And then one of the coolest things, and I don't think I've ever seen the episode, but do you remember in the late 80s there was a reboot of Twilight Zone? Those were actually fairly well done. They did a remake of, a handful of classic episodes, and I don't remember if they did new episodes or not either, but...
They did new ones too.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, okay. So he was in one called The Wall, and his character was called Captain Henry Kincaid. And I don't recall seeing that, but I'm going to find it and check him out on that. So that was back in '89 when he did that. Nice. And then, of course, we all know him from Land of the Dead, but he has been working, and he has film credits after Land of the Dead and TV, too, by the way. Tons of TV and film. So this man is a hard worker. He's multimedia, athletic, right? He has albums.
Yeah.
And he gives it his all. When you go to his booth...
Yeah, he's scary, man.
You get everything.
Me all weekend.
If you ever go to a convention and Big Daddy's there, don't ask any questions. Just go and get his autograph and get the experience. You will love it. And he's the nicest guy. We chatted for probably, what was it, about 40 minutes there, and as we were trying to pack up after Saturday when we were tearing down, and he was kind of fixing his stuff up and tweaking because he was going to be there on Sunday, but we left on Saturday. And we were chatting. It was great. It was absolutely great.
He was really open and warm and talking to us about all kinds of stuff. How he grew up and his mom. And
he was saying, this is great.
His experience at the conventions and how he connects with people and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I was loving how he was talking about his mom. He goes, my mom, she's not with us anymore, but she was a Southern lady, and she's not afraid to bust your ass, even if you're 17 and a half years old. I was loving that, man. That's so good. And that's so true. Yeah. There's a lot of especially back in the day, like moms and grandmothers, you better act right because they'll be coming for you. And that, sometimes, it's not exactly. So apparently his mom did that. So it probably kept Eugene on the straight and narrow, I'm assuming.
Just know that you don't just, here he is, take a picture with him. It's way more than that. So it's worth it. It's definitely an experience. So check him out, Eugene Clark, man. I told him I happened to end up in the bathroom next to him at the urinals at one point of the night. And this is before we had talked to him about his mom and stuff. So this was the first night. And I said, I waited till we were washing our hands, not when we were peeing, because I didn't want to talk to him at that time.
So, I'm glad you showed
made
that
the right call.
level of restraint.
Yeah,
Aaron.
You got to be respectful to the man. So while we were washing our hands, I said, you're the king of the zombies, right? And he's like, oh, thanks, man. I said, yeah, you took it to the next level. You're the best. I'm sure other people have their favorites, but you're the best zombie of all time. That's how I see it.
That's true, man. Yeah, it was the next evolution from Bub.
Yep.
And, that's as good as it gets right there, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, what a great role for him to get. That's a iconic zombie for sure.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's front and center on the one sheet. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That's as good as it gets. Absolutely.
Yep.
Plenty of screen time, all that good stuff. All right, we have some Voyager 3 news to get at you here. The first thing we want to mention is that the Voyager 3 store has a sale running, or a special running, all month of August. Any order over $35, any U.S. order, that is, contiguous U.S. order, over $35 gets free shipping all through August. So take advantage of that and pick up anything you've been waiting to get, like the Score to New York Ninja, which is our latest record. And speaking of that, we have a new piece of merch that just hit the store. Everybody probably remembers the Undead t-shirt that hit the store a couple months ago. Now we have a ladies version of that, this really cool cut ladies version. We'll flash a graphic of that up on the screen. What else do we have? New York Ninja is still playing on the Showtime Networks, which they have a bunch of different channels within the Showtime Network. So check the listings, and you'll be able to check out New York Ninja in the comfort of your own house.
Mailbag.
Oh, it's just a little mailbag. Not a big deal. Just
Mailbag.
BL Fisher was mentioning that his underrated album was Mr. Bungle Voltaire.
Man,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Voltaire?
I think so.
It's crazy because in our circle of friends, I would never consider Mr. Bungle to be underrated, but he's right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
right.
It's definitely.
Yeah. His pick for underrated movie was Night of the Creeps.
That's a good one.
Joe Cady, his pick for underrated album was Sabotage, Wake of Magellan, and his movie was Monster Squad. So
Monster Squad's good.
Yeah.
What year was that metal album that he mentioned? I'm just curious.
Sabotage?
What era was that?
So they had Hall of the Mountain King or something like that?
That's the one. I know that one.
That's the one that everybody talks about, but I have a feeling the reason Joe is mentioning this other one is because that tends to be the only one people think of when they think of Sabotage, is the one that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But didn't the guys in Sabotage end up, I think they went on to form the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I think that's their main gig now.
Oh, and then Alex Skolnick from Testament's also in that, right? Pretty sure.
Right. But I think it was one of the guys or a couple of guys from Sabotage started Trans-Siberian, and now that's their big gig.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's huge. That's worldwide, basically, right?
Yeah. So Sabotage is definitely good, man. So Joe is right. I'm sure that's an album I got to go look up.
Yeah, because, we're always just throwing the ball out there to the people and saying, hey, what's your pick for this or that or your favorite whatever?
Right.
And so they responded, and I wanted to get those out there so people know to look up that stuff and check it out. One day I will embrace Mr. Bungle. One day I'll try and I'll break through the ice and get to like Mr. Bungle. Maybe
you did it with Killing Joke.
I love it. Love Killing Joke. Everything in its own time, man.
That's right. Yeah, it's amazing how that is. Certain artists, you're just not ready for them somehow, and either you don't even listen to them, or you do and you don't prefer it. Right. But then it can flip, and all of a sudden you're like, "Man, what was I thinking?" Or "I can't believe I've never heard these guys," or whatever.
There is a universal truth. It's never too late for rock and roll. It's never too late.
Aaron's like Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Right.
You're just not ready. You're just not ready for it.
That's right.
You will be.
Yeah, your kids will.
All right, our next order of business is a fun one that Aaron thought of, and it is about film. There's new films, old films, and there are films that have been remade. So our question to each other and to you listening, what is your favorite film remake? That's a toughie, though, because there's a lot. And sometimes a film's been remade several times, so that comes into effect, too. You know, which version? Who knows?
That's true.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
true.
Yeah. This one
had me thinking, man.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of options. And of course, like we say in a lot of lists that we do, ask me again tomorrow, and I'll give you a different one. Could be, you know.
Yeah.
And I only chose one, Aaron.
Oh, man, good. Greg. Getting disciplined.
When I thought about this one, there's a specific reason I thought about it, because of this whole Motor City Nightmares thing. It's all tied in. I'm standing there looking at Tom Savini for 2 days straight, and I just wanted to tell him, you know, your Night of the Living Dead is, I think, the best remake ever. Like, I think, so that's what made me think of this topic and want you guys to chime in with your favorite remake. Because usually it's a horrible idea to remake a movie. Usually you're right. Yep. It's a cash grab because it's name recognition. And it's just, you know, completely when somebody couldn't come up with any ideas and they remake something. Well, sometimes remakes break through all that and they're good or they're great. And I think Tom Savini's 1990 Night of the Living Dead is great for many reasons. To keep it succinct, one of the main reasons is because it's in the family. Tom Savini has been with George Romero from the beginning. He was basically a disciple. And he, not only was he respectful to the original with his remake, but he also, for legal reasons, he was able to give some tribute to George Romero because they screwed up with their copyright thing in the original Night of the Living Dead. Right. And so, he lost the rights to his own movie.
It went into public domain, basically. Public
domain. And Tom Savini did a sort of in-house remake that could actually, give the props back to George Romero. Also, I just think it's an excellent movie. It's so well done. It's so creepy. Every bit of the movie makes you uncomfortable, right from the beginning with Patricia Tallman and Bill Moseley driving out in the cemetery and just arguing about their mother. Like, I like horror movies that make you uncomfortable, even when there's nothing scary going on, like Hereditary and Midsommar and things like that, where you're just never able to relax because there's always just something to get under your skin. And I think another thing that's amazing about it is Patricia Tallman herself. Nothing against the lady Judith O'Dea who did the original Barbara, but I prefer a woman who, or a character, a woman, a man, or whatever, who goes through their time of hysteria and freaking out and panicking, and then finds some way to galvanize themselves and become, a bad motherfucker and go through the rest of the movie actually making a difference. So I love Patricia Tallman. I love how she kind of sheds all the frilliness throughout the movie. And, she's like out there in the beginning in this skirt and her shoes fall off and stuff. And she's trying to get away and she ends up finding the boots. It's almost like a role-playing game. She puts on the boots. She rips her skirt so it's like not getting in the way and it's not all like cumbersome. She gets herself a shotgun, right? A rifle, a shotgun.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Anyway, I love her transformation through the movie. It's a great movie, great cast. Tom Savini does an amazing job, excellent job. And that among many, a few great remakes.
And Tony Todd is great in there. Todd. And I will mention Paul McCullough's score is really good in that. It's kind of unique. Like, there's not a lot of scores that sound like that one. Sometimes it's actually it's dark, but sometimes it has hints of, I'm almost gonna say like playfulness in it, and then you think like, what is he doing? But it works. It just works. It's really cool for sure. Yeah, and the dude in the basement, Mr. Tom Towles is his name.
Harry in the basement.
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
one of the biggest scumbags you'll ever see in any movie. The original guy in the original movie is really.
I was going to say the original guy was pretty bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's such a great role for a real like piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know that you could. Anyway, so that's my pick for a favorite remake. There are some other great ones too, but that's the one I'm going with.
All right, Greg. How about you, man? What do you got for your best film remake pick?
Man, I'm glad you said that one's going to be hard to top because I think I can top it.
Okay.
Not to be
on.
Not to be competitive, Aaron.
Right.
But I think we'd be reprimanded pretty hard by the horror community if one of the three of us did not mention this perfect remake. You know what it is?
I have a feeling I know.
The Thing.
Oh yeah.
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Come on. 1982.
It's a perfect film. It really is.
So first of all, it's the 80s, Aaron. You know how I feel about the 80s, right?
Right.
All the music I listen to is from the 80s. The movies that I love from the 80s. But man, John Carpenter hit it out of the park with this one. I mean, to be honest and in full disclosure, I don't think I've ever seen the 50s one.
No, me neither, and I need to. I want to just check it out. See where it came from.
Want to see it, but I don't need to. I know that all of us know that when we saw The Thing, and when you saw the practical effects in that movie, like my mind was blown. Like I had never
how did they even do that? Even to this day.
When all those things are like whipping out of that dog, like
yeah,
I was just like, what the hell is going on? I've never seen
creepy, yes.
And I love the tag. I don't know if it was the tagline of the movie, but I saw it recently, like man is the warmest place to hide or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the whole thing, man, it's so good. Like, the whole idea that they're cold, they're remote, like they're stranded, like they're on their own. And like the distrust of everybody around you, like just that,
there's multiple layers of psychology happening, basically.
Well, Aaron was talking about being uncomfortable through the whole thing. I mean, that's a movie where you feel for the actors, first of all, because they're out there in the middle of a blizzard. It's cold to begin with. And then they just keep layering on things that like, distrust of the people around you and nobody really knowing, what the hell is going on. And,
right.
It's so good. It's ridiculously good.
Oh yeah. We can't forget to mention Ennio Morricone's score for that. Whew. Super good. It
still is like, it still holds up to this day too. Cause I just watched it not that long ago again. And it's still just as good and just as over the
I don't
top.
even think it feels dated at all. Honestly, it's so unique of a film that's just its own world happening, and I don't care when you watch it. It's awesome.
And I remember watching, or maybe I watched a documentary on it or something. But I think like the guy who did the practical effects in that movie, like it almost caused him to get divorced from his wife because he was so obsessed about making it the best practical effect movie that's ever been made.
Well,
so like
he succeeded. I hope he's still married.
yeah. I think he like it really put a strain on his like home life and everything because of how obsessed he was about getting it right.
Yeah.
So.
And how awesome is that one scene where it's when they're all drawing the blood, so they're all strapped to the chairs, and then the chair with the guy flies up to the ceiling. Oh my God, it's incredibly awesome. It's just done so seamlessly. You're like, what am I even seeing? Get out of there. Run.
Yeah. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right, well, hey, I got to say, man.
No, hang on. Don't go into yours yet. Aaron's got the remake of Night of the Living Dead versus The Thing. You got to choose which one's the better remake before we move on to yours.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so we're doing almost like a side bet here.
Because Aaron seemed pretty confident he had the best one. I'm competitive.
Here's why
by nature.
I can't answer that, and here's why. I haven't seen the original Thing from Another World. I haven't seen that, so I can't contrast that one.
I don't think it matters.
Okay, so you're asking then, what's a better film, The Thing, John Carpenter's, or Night of the Living Dead, 1990?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with The Thing.
You have to the Desert Island. Desert Island.
He already chose.
Yeah, I'll go with The Thing. But I mean, they're both absolutely amazing. But for some reason, maybe that one just tops it out a little more. I don't know. Okay, my pick. Love your guys' picks. I think this falls right in line with that, in my opinion. It's kind of just the same caliber of remakes. But Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which the remake I'm talking about was 1978.
Donald Sutherland.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So it was remade from the 1958 film that starred Kevin McCarthy and was directed by Don Siegel. So, so 1978, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, starring Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Leonard Nimoy, hello, fantastic, and Jeff Goldblum. Oh, man, it's got everybody in there, you know? And the music, the fantastic music by Denny Zeitlin is mostly orchestra, but at just the right moments, they bring in some synthesizers just for the creepiness and the kind of spaciness of the aliens, especially in the beginning when they're showing them on their planet, where this kind of looks like cosmic semen, I guess, for lack of a better term. You know, that's just nasty looking type stuff, and they're floating through space. That's some good synthiness there. And then sometimes when they're showing the transformation and some of that spookiness, a lot of good synth comes in. Amazing score. And then just the texture of the film grain and just the atmosphere of the film, it's perfect. It's exactly what I like. And I remember the first time I ever saw that film, I did not want to go to sleep. I was totally convinced in my mind that something bad's going to happen if you go to sleep. Probably not that different to when people saw Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm sure, you know, that kind of thing. And a few others that have the sleep thing put in there for the story mechanism. It captures, like a social paranoia, because at first they're not quite sure what's happening because not that many people have been changed yet, and then it starts to go and go and go. Then it flips, and now you're in the minority, and everybody else is crazy because they're not human anymore, and they're devoid of emotions, and they're trying to conspire to get the last bit of humans converted. You know, it's wonderful. So the kind of the noose keeps tightening, or the hallway gets thinner, whatever you want to say, and it's just tension builds and builds. Wonderful film, love it. I'm actually due to watch it again soon. It's probably been about maybe 3 or 4 years since I watched it. I got to
watch that one again.
Yeah, great special effects.
I think it's one of those movies from the 70s, the quintessential 70s movie that fills you with the sense of hopelessness.
Right.
I mean, you can't win. And even during the movie, like you said, once the tables start flipping to where now they're in the minority, they're kind of like, why are you even resisting? You know, we're at peace. Everything is great when you go over to our side. And the humans are like, they're starting to have doubts, or maybe they're still resisting. It doesn't matter because you're still going to go anyway. Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those 70s cappers, in a decade where that was so known for the good guys losing or the good guys dying at the end, or, things like that. Whatever genre, horror, westerns, crime movies, Taxi Driver, and all these movies where it's just about sort of just giving in or giving up or whatever, dying and all that stuff. Yeah. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is one of the epitome, of that genre, of that sort of school of movie making. So yeah, great.
And for those of you out there, and I know Aaron's definitely one of them, who love to read all the Invasion of the Body Snatchers takes, because there's been more remakes after the 78 one. But it's from a book called The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney, FYI. So for those who like to read and check out the novel, the original source material, check out that book. I'm sure you can probably find it at a used bookstore, or maybe there's renewed printings over the years. But it shouldn't be hard to find, I would imagine.
I know there's an OG pressing of that soundtrack, right? But have any of the big guys redone that one?
I don't think so. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, Greg, because I was going to mention this little tidbit. I have the soundtrack on vinyl, but I also have it on CD. This is a 25th anniversary edition of the CD, and the vinyl has the same cover. But the cool thing about the CD is that the bottom part of it, like these bottom tracks right here, are interviews with Danny Zeitlin. So he's talking about how he got to do the film, and he's talking about just some stuff that was happening at that time. It gives you a little behind the scenes insight of when he was working on that film, because he's a prolific composer as well. He's done stuff for years, and he also does his own albums and plays on other people's albums. He's just an all-around musician and film composer. So, a deep credit list and all this kind of stuff. So it's really cool to hear those interviews. So that 25th anniversary CD has all that stuff. That's not on the vinyl, of course. That wouldn't fit. But the CD has the same music as the vinyl. But no, I have not seen, a new version of vinyl, like, from Waxworks or Death Waltz or anything like that. But that would be cool. Maybe they could find, more cues and give you, more music.
I also want to mention,
that.
I want to mention how great Leonard Nimoy's monologue is in that movie.
Oh yeah, you know what? If I can find a link to that on YouTube, I'll link it in the description, because people need to check that out for sure.
Yeah, I think those three movies are the best. Certainly the best remakes. I mean, the thing is, I didn't even think about maybe there's a great remake of a Western or science fiction. My mind immediately went to horror, probably because I was looking at Tom Savini. But I know there are other good ones, so I'm curious to see what people come up with.
I want some suggestions of things to watch. So please let us know.
those three, beyond a doubt, are phenomenal.
Yeah,
can't beat them.
Absolutely. Well, fellas, I think we're good to go for this episode of V3Cast. We talked about our time at Motor City Nightmares, our concert there. We talked about our cool meeting of Eugene Clark and how he is above and beyond any normal guest at a horror convention, and you have to go experience his booth. And we talked about our favorite film remakes. So please let us know what your favorite film remakes are in the comments or in the email, which is askv3cast@gmail.com. So until next time, this is Voyager 3, and this has been V3Cast.